Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Sue Erickson, the Soggy Stamper. It is Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock on a kind of a blustery, cold, wintry day. And I am delighted to show you how to make this cute pop-up box Christmas card. It's got all these series of boxes, and they do fold down flat to put into a standard medium-sized envelope. So let's get started. My dogs are going to say hi too, unfortunately. Sorry about that. So the designer series paper that we're going to use today is the Storybook Gnomes paper. I like to cut a 3-inch strip off one side of each of the pieces of paper and make a square and then cut it in diagonal. And then you can see, I can see both sides of the design without having to thumb through all the pages to see what kind of pattern and that is there. So this is what the designer series paper looks like. And I have chosen to use this piece with the moose and the deer and the fox and the little birds. I think it's really cute. Excuse me. I'm using directions from France Martin for cutting the paper. This was one of the designs that she had made, and she got it from somebody else. So it's kind of being passed around. But these exact measurements she had printed out. So that's what I'm going to be using. And on the back side, one of my demonstrator friends, Robin Messenheimer, figured out how to cut a piece of cardstock so you can get all the pieces you need out of just one piece of cardstock without having very much waste. So this is the guide that I'm going to be using. I will put it on my website, the soggystamper.com, after this so that you have this information for yourself. I thank both of them for sharing it. So let's start with cardstock. I'm going to be using for the card base Balmy Blue. And so the first piece is 4 1/4 by 8. So we'll start with 4 1/4, and then we'll cut it by 8. So this whole thing is 11 inches, and I don't want to pull out my thing. So if I take 3 inches off of 11, I will have 8 inches. Okay, so there's the 8 inches. And then down below that is a 2 1/4 inch square. So I may as well make that right now. 2 1/4 inches. I'm not sure, can you see? You can't see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. Let me scoot things back a ways. Okay, 2 1/4. By 2 1/4. Scrap. So we have 2 of these. Now the other piece is 3 3/4 square, 3 1/4 square, and 2 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So we'll measure this way. Turn it 3 3/4. Okay, then we need 3 1/4. By 3 1/4. And the final one is 2 3/4 square. So 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so that's all our pieces. Now we need to score them. Bring back my scoring blade. I wish Stampin' Up! Would had replacement blades for the scoring, because mine is partly broken. Has broken one of the legs off, so it comes out easily. So we're going to score at 1/2. And then at 1 3/4. And then 2 1/4. And then you fold it like that. So it's going to look like that. And it's important to burnish that so that the folds are good and tight. So that when you put it all together, it lays flat. Okay, so there's that one. The next one is the 3 1/4 inch square, and we score it at 3/4. At 2 inches. And at 2 3/4. And again, we fold it, fold, fold, burnish, burnish, and burnish. You guys go ahead if you want to go ahead and make comments. While I'm working, I have a hard time following the comments on my iPad, but rest assured that I will definitely answer your comments, respond to them when I get through with the video. Okay, so the next large is 1 3 3/4. We scored at 1 inch. At 2 1/4. And at 3 1/4. Back to the small one here. Score it 1/4. 1.5. And 1 3/4. One quarter, 1.5, and 1 3/4. Oh, forgot to burnish those. And then this piece. This is the 4 1/4 by 8. We're going to score it at 1 1/4. And at 2 1/2. And this is your card base. And it folds like this. You fold it here, and you fold it back like that. So it looks like that. Okay, so now for the designer series paper. There's my piece. I'll turn the page over. Now these are designed, these measurements are for if you don't have, you're not doing any more layering, just the designer series paper just directly onto here. If you're doing layering, you would want to cut this a little bit smaller by probably at least 1/4 inch each side way. And now it's important so that the pattern stays like this. It's important to cut them and keep them in order. So the first cut is 1 1/8 by, okay, so these are all going to be 1 1/8 inches wide. So I'm going to turn it over 1 1/8. And then 1 1/8. I'm going to turn it this way so that we have our pattern still going. And this last piece should be 1 1/8. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, now we have to cut them because they get shorter. So now we have to cut them. I'll start with this shorter last one, and we cut 1 inch off each end. And you end up cutting away a whole lot of the pattern of the design. But that's the way it goes. Okay, so there's one. That's the smallest. The next piece is 3/4 of an inch off each end. See how the pattern's working? Okay, so there's 3/4. And this is kind of boring. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to get this all cut before I started filming. Next, we'll cut a 1/2 inch off each end. I had to run to the post office for work after I got off work, so that made me with little time to actually get this all prepped. And then a 1/2 inch, no, 1/4 inch off this piece. And this one we use full size. So we can take this out of the way. And we can begin creating and putting our card together. It really goes quite simply. I was surprised. It looks very complicated. But it isn't. So here's the card base, and the longest piece goes on here. I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid glue because you can squiggle it around if you don't have things lined up quite right. It gives you a chance to adjust things. So that one goes on first. Like so. Okay, now then the next one, this is the next largest. And we're going to put glue. Okay, so this is the way it looks. We're going to glue this side, and we're going to glue that. Then we're going to flatten it like so, and we're going to put it in here, and you have to adjust so it's evenly spaced, and you fold that down like so. And when it comes up, it pops up like that. Okay, let's put this on there. Take the next larger one. We put the glue on here and the glue on here. Flatten it down. Put it in this fold. Fold it down. Getting glue on my fingers. You could use Stampin' Seal to put these layers on. You could probably even use Stamp and Seal or tear and tape to put the card base together, the boxes together. Oh, come on. It's down quite. There we go. Actually, I think this time, okay, so we're going to put glue here and glue here. But first, I think I'm going to put this on the center panel. See how that works. Might be easier to get it centered. Okay, now for the glue here. And this flap over here. Flatten it here. Tuck it in here. And squish it down. Okay, on to the very last one. See, it really goes together really rather quickly once you get all the pieces glued. Okay, so the glue is going to go here and here. We want this last piece. Okay, I'll put the glue. And on this one. Don't want it on the outside there. Flatten it. Tuck it up against this one. And flatten it all down. Well, come on. Gotta make sure that it lays flat. There. Okay, so now with all the mousse, my Christmas greeting is Merry Christmas. And no, there is no stamp like that. I computer generated it and printed it out on cardstock. All I gotta do is find, there it is. And maybe we have a die that's small enough. Could get that probably tucked in right under there, but I kind of like having it on the top and the bottom. I am, though, going to use this to get a straight cut along the top and the bottom of the greeting. So you might wonder about this dirt on here. That's actually some Stampin' Seal that I've put on there to help hold the paper in place, because as you close this down, your fingers can't get your fingers can't hold it, and it often, for me at least, it often slips. And it doesn't affect the back of your card stuff at all. So all that's left to do is cut it at an angle, snip, snip, snip. And I'm going to use mini Stampin' Dimensionals and pop those two up. Got glue all over my fingers. I'm going to stick that about like that. Put a couple down here. I am so excited that it is December. All kinds of great things are happening at Stampin' Up. New catalog is on the Standing in the Wings, the January through April this year, mini catalog. They're switching to different formats. So it's going to be January through April with the mini catalog, so that it coincides with the annual catalog, I think. At any rate, so that comes out January 4th. And so we have some really wonderful new products for spring themes. And so in the process, we have to make room for inventory, new inventory. So Stampin' Up! Is having a last chance sale. Some of the items are up to 60% off, and that started the 1st of December and runs through December 31st, I think, maybe as far as January 4th. So anyway, last chance to get some of those products. I have on my blog, I will have a list of the carryover items, because some things are being carried over. I'm not going to have the list of the product that is being discontinued, because as soon as it sells out, the list is outdated. So I'm adding a little bit of Wink of Stella here to give a little bit of bling to the card. The snow needs to shine a little bit. Wink of Stella is really a great product. You can use it to color with even, because you can pick up the color from your ink pad. Squeeze the lid of the ink pad and get some ink onto the lid, and then you can pick it up with the Wink of Stella. And then not only do you have a lovely, lovely color, but you also have shimmer to go along with it. I'll show you in a minute here what this looks like. isn't enough, if it's not quite juicy enough, you can squeeze the barrel a bit more. There. Now let's see if you can see any of the shimmer to it for it. See the sparkle? Just like the sun on snow, on fresh snow. Love it. Okay, so there you go. That's called the pop-up boxes. I might call it cascading boxes. They do pop up, but they also cascade like that. So thank you for watching. I'm Sue the Soggy Stamper. Rain or shine, it's stamping time. And so this will be up on my YouTube channel, The Soggy Stamper, this afternoon. And the directions with the cutting measurements and all that will be on my blog, soggystamper.com. And if you need any of the products, check out the sale. I'd really appreciate it if you would be a customer of mine. And my store is creationsbysue.stampinup.net. I started that before I decided on the Soggy Stamper theme. And now it's kind of late to change it. So it's not, you won't find the Soggy Stamper store on Stampin' Up. So thanks for watching. You have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.